Good afternoon, everyone. So continuing the saga on, well, the new engine for the S13 Coupe. You guys saw in the last video, we pulled the old engine out, we slipped the new engine in. This is a fresh engine from the depot. We didn't have enough time to actually refresh this engine, so it might be a little leaky, but it should be good to go.
It's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be great. Oh, no, not negative, realistic. There was already one J swap, so it should all just be plug and play and ready to go. But there's a couple things that we've been dying to change for a long time. And well, now's our opportunity, so we're gonna do it. So one of the first things that drove me nuts about the old setup was the exhaust side, right? It worked. It did me really good for a very long time, but it was tight, it was inefficient, it was a pain in the ass to service, right? To do any of the gaskets was a nightmare. To do anything on the wastegate was an absolute nightmare. So we wanted to upgrade, and we did just that. So we got ourselves an R-Tech manifold for the 1JZ. Dun dun dun. If you guys haven't seen this, we've been using these quite a bit. These are cast stainless exhaust manifolds. So what's nice about the cast stainless is instead of having to worry about the constraints of tubular steel and just making that all fit, they can focus way more on the flow dynamics and the fit than having to just make these pipes fit, right? Not only is this manifold super easy to install, the other one was a nightmare to remove. Ask Spoon, he's still mad about it. This one's super easy to get to all the nuts and bolts on the manifolds. It's a smaller package, so there's just less heat in the bay everywhere. The flow dynamics of it should be way more efficient than our old tubular manifold. We should have a little more power, better response, and less heat in the bay, theoretically, right?
And it's V-band.
And most importantly, we switched the hot side to V-band, so it's V-band down here and V-band back here, so we no longer have a T4 gasket that blows out in Indiana, and then you spend way too long burning your hands replacing it.
We know all about that.
Yeah, remember that? So, boom. Easy piece. I'm actually really pumped to see the difference in power just from the manifold alone, and the noise, because this thing has been the same for so long. So of course, I had to at least paint the new covers so the engine looked nice. It was so crusty before. We'll never know that's a new engine. Love that. Sheesh. New manifold, new covers. Coils in, cover one, and cover two.
Damn, you polished the shit out of that.
It's gleaming, right? All right, so since we have a new turbo manifold, it puts the turbo in a slightly different location, plus Spoon doesn't care too much for the last downpipe, he's making a new downpipe. Luckily this thing is left-hand drive, so we have plenty.
All the room.
You want to recirc the gate or keep it open?
No, keep it open. Let it bang.
Okay. Yeah. Out the hood? I knew he'd like that one. Ah, it looks sick.
You want it out of the hood?
What?
You want it out of the hood?
You look too excited about it.
Not me.
Nah, we'll keep it pointed down.
All right, so I also have to pull out the injectors and get them tested and cleaned because we're still not convinced we weren't having a filling issue at the last event, and I haven't cleaned these things in a long time, and since this car sits with E in it quite a bit, they tend to get a little gummed up. That doesn't look very good.
No, it's like when you first wake up in the morning.
Alright, so we're gonna throw the lazy injector in the ultrasonic bath for a little while so we can get this thing cleaned up and unstuck, and we'll test it one more time. Alright, let's see if cleaning was enough.
Round two.
Come on, baby, just a little dirty ethanol in there. Looks better.
Much better.
Nice. Alright, so I just stopped at Justin's, of course, to have him clean and test my injectors. And what's crazy is cylinder 5 had a weak injector. Cylinder 5 is the cylinder that threw a shim, right? I talked about this. I said it. I said, oh, we did rev it high, but there was something else going on. And guess what? We had a weak injector. I don't know if you could tell in the video, but my last couple runs, on my run up, there would be a crazy backfire. It sounded nuts. And my car doesn't do that. I knew there was something up, but we were too deep in the comp, and the car felt kind of fine under full throttle that it wasn't worth checking. and then boom. Did it pop because it was lean? Shake the cylinder, threw the shim, and smashed the valve? Or did I over rev it? Or was it a combination of both? I don't know. Cylinder 5 had a weak injector. It was probably dirty because the car sits with ethanol in it all the time and I never clean these things, but we cleaned the weak one, it came back, then I cleaned all 6, everything tests out great, so there we go. Clean your injectors more. It is what it is. I'm just happy it wasn't 100% my fault.
Guess what injector was weak?
5.
5.
Not surprised. Is the injector shot or was it just dirty?
I think it was just dirty because we cleaned it and came back.
Look at this thing.
Yeah, downpipe's all tacked.
Brand new hot side. Look how much nicer this thing looks. Look how easy it is to access the wastegate now. We could just pop it out before.
Austin was on my side, screamer.
Up the hood?
Put out the fender so when Josh is on my door, it just blows in his face.
Final bout is all about style.
We would talk about doing this for so long.
Yeah, we've had the manifold for what, 2 months, 3 months?
Yeah.
It's just, the car needed a refresh. Like I said, this thing, aside from the trans being out, this thing's been together for 5 years. So
yeah.
give yourself a pat on the back. Good job.
So not only are we going to be changing the hot side of this thing, we're actually going to be playing with the coolant system itself. Also because, as you guys know, on drift cars, trying to keep the engine cool is one of the biggest issues you have, right? A lot of strain on these engines for a long period of time. Heat is immense. Keeping this thing cool has been a challenge since day one. We've done a lot of things to try and combat it, but this time we're doing a completely new recipe to see if it does us good. So there's a bunch of different ways that we can run the cooling system on the JZ. If it's a street car, it's a lot more forgiving, but on a drift car, we need maximum efficiency. So we have our water pump housing right here, right? It comes down, thermostat to the radiator. This one goes up to the head into the upper radiator hose, and then there's a line that comes all the way back, right? And this kind of feeds all the accessories, right? This will come back, right? It'll feed the heater hose, go around the engine, and then this will feed the little coolant that goes to the throttle body, the one the throttle body's up, and then this should go to our little oil cooler or oil heater from the factory bits, right? Before, we kind of deleted all this and we just had our heater hose line, and we had our other heater hose line coming out of the head, and everything else was capped. We did a couple different routes, it didn't seem to do us good, so now we have a new recipe that has been well, proven to be a lot better. So to start our change, what I want to do is install a thermostat delete. You see this? So instead of having the factory thermostat, which regulates the coolant flow based off of the coolant temp, we'll be getting rid of it. And well, some people argue this back and forth, right? Sometimes you like the thermostat because it creates a little of resistance of the flow in the engine, so the coolant doesn't go through the cooling system too fast and not cool down, right? That has been tested on the dyno immensely from this kit that I have that I'll talk about in a second. It doesn't have that effect on these engines. It really doesn't care, right? So we're gonna quickly throw this thermostat delete in. A little bit of lube. Put this in there. This bit is literally just to create a sealing surface now. So our next bit is going to be our upper water neck, right? Where we have our swirl pot in. And what this does is this gets the hot water out of the head right here, brings it up, and then that goes to the radiator to cool down, right? But there's actually a bridge between this, see this, and the lower water neck right here that basically will recirc the hot coolant back into the system until the thermostat opens and it actually blocks this off, right? This little passage right here is literally only for the warm-up state, right? Since we no longer have a thermostat to basically block that passage off, we need this that will no longer allow that passage behind the thermostat since we don't have one anymore, right? So we'll lube the crap out of this, press right into there. Boom. Perfect. So now we have no more thermostat in the system, which is one less resistance in the cooling system, so it'll allow the coolant to flow more freely into the system, and we no longer have that pesky little bypass valve there that'll allow any hot coolant to snake itself back into the engine, right? Next thing we're doing is we will be getting rid of the heater hose because I never use it, all right? It's just another area for things to leak. Make the car even simpler, we will be deleting that, and so we'll be getting rid of this pipe that wraps around the engine right here. So we gotta block this off. So you guys are probably curious how we control engine temp now since we have no thermostat. And well, we have a modern ECU, so we can control the engine temp with the fans. we're good. If you want to get that kit for your very self, we'll put the link in the description. Top below, cop the thermostat thing, and go. Don't. Oh, it's not gonna work. Take our new delete plate and we get rid of all that after our RTD. But before we go on to anything else, of course, we're gonna add some more side quests going on here today. We actually have 2 big side quests. One has just arrived, so let's talk about it.
Yeah, I can't get away from it.
The Spoon just attracts Hondas. Look at this thing. Just so you guys don't see this thing in the background and go, what's the story? Because I know you guys don't like secrets. Spoon is helping one of our good friends out. Aki here, you guys know Aki, come on.
Everybody knows Aki.
What's up, my brothers
So,
and sisters?
Aki, you've been like restoring your day 1 car. This is your baby right here, right?
Yeah, man.
The one that started it all.
So some of the fit and finish stuff that Spoon is the king of, he's dropping off for Spoon to put his pretty little fingers on to finish up. Just some aligning stuff that only Spoon has patience for. So you'll see this thing in the background a little bit. It is just a beautiful all-motor EG. If you guys see more of the EG content behind it, go on Aki's channel, put the link in the description. Is it still just keep running? Or
It's so I had to change it because of the wording.
Yeah.
So it's KG Garage.
KG Garage, if you guys want to see everything and anything Honda and the legacy behind this car, we'll put it in the description. Go check it out.
Yeah, hell yeah, started. You guys got to hear this.
Start her up.
Yeah.
Sound and that smell together.
I'm lying.
Oh, that's good. So the last thing we need to do to actually like complete our cooling system is one more pipe, right? Nothing goes on the back anymore, but there is a port in the back of the head that has a bunch of hot coolant that we need to get out of there. We can't just cap it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this port right here that used to have coolant come out of the heater core, and we're gonna send it straight to the radiator, go through the radiator, cool the coolant down, and get right back into the engine to start the cycle all over again.
Cool car, happy car.
It's a cool car. Still have another side quest coming on in today's video, so stay tuned for that. All right, boys, well, side quest number 2 today. JZX110, JZX110. If you guys remember this car, it's been kind of perched in the back. This poor thing, this car is so cool. If you guys remember, Method Auto Group gifted me this car at LZ's compound at the last open house in December last year. Literally haven't had a single moment to play with this thing, right? There's a little bit of a list that we had for it, and we've been flat out, as you guys have noticed in the videos, we haven't had a second to breathe. Like, we keep trying to plan to do stuff, and that list gets changed by the stuff that we actually now have to do, if you guys have noticed. So, the Method Boys proposed a new idea for us. It's a good ass car.
Good ass car. This thing started right up, just smooth.
Yeah, 1G's kind of hit. It's a great dealer.
She's cool.
Maybe an even greater bash car.
Maybe not bash car, drift car. Take the word bash out of it.
Nah, 4 buckets. Let's go.
So the Method Boys offered something pretty cool to me. They offered to take this thing and actually get this thing drift ready for me. We wanted a fun drift sedan, something we could slide with the boys down at Method with their sedans, and we just wanted a fun car. They wanted to see me in a car that I would have a blast driving. You guys know I always have the funnest time in drift cars. So they're gonna take my 110. We got a plethora of parts for it, and they're gonna pick at it for us as they have time, because I know we don't currently. And next time you guys see this, it should be drift ready, which can be really, really, really freaking cool. So I can't say no to that, and I am super grateful for the boys to take this and put the work in for me. Weird to just kind of send a car off, but hey, it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this thing. Oh, whoa, that thing's just spitting. Come on, Spoon, you got that. Put it in low.
Oh, they ain't doing it.
Try it. What are you gonna? Whatever. Next time you guys see this, it'll do a good burnout.
I put it in power mode. They just won't do it.
Power mode.
Power mode. Low.
You got too much mechanical sympathy. Give me sympathy.
Who thinks it's me? It's the car. Oh, it was me, right?
That feels nuts. To all you Irish boys with those IS200s out there, if you could do donuts with that GS drivetrain, I'll give you props. So since we didn't end up using our little mystery 1J here, yeah, it's a perfect candidate for the 110. So I think it should be great. So if you remember at the Virginia event, we had some issues with my fuel pump, and well, you might have saw that we have the original fuel pump hanger, right? Super crusty. The terminals are basically falling off of the thing. They're barely connected. It's not a good look, right? These things are over 25 years old. They're old. This thing's 30 years old. That's really old. I mean, it's not that old. It's not that old. DW makes a new hanger. It's beautiful. Like, even if you don't want to go crazy aftermarket look for your even stock car, it's a really nice replacement for stock. You can put the level sensor on it, comes with a bracket for it, and it comes with the terminals on it, and you don't have to do AMs. You could just do this to a barb fitting like OEM, right? So if you have an S13, I guarantee your fuel hanger is gross. DW S13 hanger. Fresh pump, fresh hanger, fresh everything, no more issues. So Spoon just modified the radiator so we can now get this hot port in the back of the head, right into the radiator right here. All right, boys, so we put the camera down because we had a lot of tedious stuff to do. Spoon ran new fuel lines, wired up the pumps. We have a couple new lines in the bay. He made a new wastegate dump. A bunch of this, we've got all the fluids in the car. Everything's good to go. We should be ready to start this thing for the first time with the new engine. It's not a bunch different, but we did change quite a bit in the cooling system, and with the hot side of the turbo, it should probably change the noise of the engine a little bit, which it always sounded good, so.
It can only sound better.
It could probably only sound better, yeah. This is the scary part because I went and got this engine from the depot because we didn't have time to refresh any other engine, so we just threw it in as is. And we are banking on the fact that this engine is mint and good to go. Came out of a Toyota Crown, which means it was probably never above 3,000 RPM in its life. Hopefully it was decently maintained in Japan. It looked like it, so first startup is a little bit scary, but we'll be good. Shut up, Derek.
Sounds good, Jimmy.
Yeah, the battery's just, I think, dead. That's all. The cold start on E was never that good. Sounds great. Sounds like a JZ should. Perfect. That engine sounds so good. Yeah, that sounds so smooth. Is the car quieter? Yeah. So smooth. I think the quietest engine in the show, but I mean, like, the exhaust sounds quiet. Are we just used to the LS?
No, this car's always been quiet. Me, I told you. Good juju. Still got
like nothing ever happens.
We're back, baby.
We're back. Just a lot of time and a lot of money. It sounds different. It sounds more JZ-like now with that manifold.
Sounds great.
It does.
Engine sounds phenomenal.
That's why I was like, it doesn't really sound different, but it sounds smoother.
It definitely. I've been listening to the same note for 4 years. It sounds different. Supercharged LS is pretty cool sounding with manual. I love the sound of a JZ. just quick tip, if you guys ever swap out your engine, I don't care if nothing was really touched, you should always reshoot base timing to your ECU to make sure that the ECU and the engine are both in sync with the timing. Boom, they're in sync, good. All right, now to make sure this thing is ready to go, let's get on the dyno and put it under some work. All right guys, we're here at Derek's dyno. We were just here with the E36. This one's not as rowdy, but it should still be a good time.
Dude, this is the OG. This is the OG, triple OG.
This is the first car we tuned together.
First car we tuned together was RJ's Miata.
I forgot, but well, that one you just took the wheel and I sat there like this.
Yeah.
Completely stock 1J, you guys know the deal. 1200cc injectors, pump ethanol. It's got an Arctic manifold. It's got a Garrett GTX 3071R, LS coils, 400 DW in the trunk. Right, that's all you need to know.
You know the vibes.
Completely stock 1J, straight from the depot 3 days ago.
First startup, literally 30 minutes ago.
Let's get this thing going. It has been on dyno in a very long time. I have thrown numbers at this tune multiple times at the track, just trying to put some more heat into her, and so she needs to clean up, so I'm happy it's here. So let's see how she does. Of course, we start at wastegate, which is 14 psi. We get everything clean and happy, and then we keep turning the boost up from there while cleaning up the map. You guys know the deal. The timing map should be very, very similar. We shouldn't have to play with that too much since we didn't really change much after all. So clean up, more power, more power, more power. Have fun.
Yeah. What he said.
So Derek's taking advantage of the main line here. So with this dyno, Derek can tune in steady state. So essentially you can allow the dyno to lock out the car with load at a certain RPM and read the real-time power of the car. You can use our VVTI, which is our variable intake cam timing, to adjust the power on the fly, right? Usually you do a pull, you check it, you change it, you see how it responds. This, basically Derek could adjust it on the fly and watch the power either increase or decrease at certain RPMs and at a steady load. It's pretty wild. So we can take full advantage of the VVTI, maximize power output throughout the entire RPM range, which is super sick.
We just picked up like 60 foot-pounds at the axle, not the motor, but the axle, with just adjusting the VVTI right there. That's
like
cool.
Crazy, and that was all under $3 grand. So you hear the car loaded up right now. The dyno is holding it there with load, and that's the real-time torque value. You'll see that change. There you go. See, look how much it. Look at the torque increase from just that. This poor thing. I'm just thinking about the life that it's had, like the entire life, and then like this is just put to work, you know? Like this thing thought it was going to retirement. Oh no.
This is the real nerd shit that I live for, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the blue line over there that you'll see in a second is with the VVT map that we kind of had before with a little blend from this morning, right? So a modified VVT map, right? The red line that you'll see in a second is with the VVT fully advanced for the entire pull. And you can see right where my cursor is how much it hates it. That shit is so cool to me, dude.
Now, if we were to have it completely off now, we would have the exact same trend,
Let's do it.
but in reverse. Okay,
Let's do it. We'll do it. Let's just do it.
Red is VVTI on all the time, right? And yellow is it off all the time. So if you see, red makes way more power down low, but then as it stays on, you lose it, right? When yellow is VVTI off, right? So we lose all this low end power, but it doesn't affect the top end at all. So basically what you need to do here is the easy part is you leave it on where it makes the most power, and you leave it off where it makes the most power. In those situations, then you're done. Easy peasy.
So you can see where the red and the yellow intersect, right?
Like right here at 4,900 RPM, right here. And so that's when we'll basically transition it being off. And so we get...
And can we just point out the fact that our original map, the blue line, was almost... It was perfect. We had it. We nailed it.
We nailed it. Same turbo setup and stuff, so the back pressure will be the same, but Boom, there you go. So, benefits of VVTi is making sure you get that nice little kick of the low ends. This thing's pretty crispy, so now it's time to just dial in the boost and get the number that we want. 1450 pounds, made 360. Makes sense. We're in that efficiency range where each PSI.
I didn't record it on the data log.
Whatever, turn it up more. It sounded like it was making 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah, it really legitimately sounded like it made 1,000. I was like, I'm like looking for things.
I know, me too. I'm like. 426. How much boost was that? 14 PSI? Or 24? So we were on our way to make 27 PSI that time, or it did, and you could hear it break up a little bit. The plugs are just probably gapped too high. I didn't go super aggressive on the plug gap. This car never used to care for it, but we could pull the plugs out and make them tighter, but it literally takes forever on this thing. That was 27 PSI, which I thought would make more power. It probably would have made 450. I'm not using this thing for comps anymore. I mean, like, final bout's different, you know, like, you just gotta have matched cars, but I am surprised at the power difference.
I mean, to be fair, we never ever ran it on this dyno.
No, the main line is definitely not as forgiving as a momentum dyno jet, so let's just put it back at 25 PSI. That's 420 horsepower, and just leave it there. It's happy right there. I never had it more than that. I thought it was making like 500 at 25 PSI. It was at 20 PSI most of its life. And I wasn't doing too bad with that. 425, 377, not bad. Nice flat torque. Love to see. I mean, it's a nice power band. Nice flat torque. I can't be mad about that. I'm gonna gap the plugs down when we get back to the shop, and then if I want more, we could turn the boost up to 27 PSI and make that 450 that we wanted, but 425, this car should be perfect. All of the stress we've been putting on the dyno, I haven't seen the coolant temps go over 185. They go right back down to 170, so I can already tell our cooling system mods have made a huge increase to the car, so it's good. All right, boys, well, we got an engine in the thing going in like 2 days. It was a lot of work. We rewrote a lot of systems. I mean, we did the whole hot side system, the cooling system, fuel system. We redid a lot of stuff on this engine. It doesn't feel any slower at 25 PSI at all. It still feels fast. I just can't believe it's making such little horsepower. Whatever. If it's fast, it's fast.
As long as your butt's happy.
Yeah. It's a lot. The wastegate is so loud now. Like the wastegate dump, it's just like in your face.
Good.
But it's good. This engine seems so happy. I think I got lucky and chose a really healthy one. It doesn't smoke on startup, doesn't smoke on decel, doesn't make any noises. It is good. The depot gods did us good this time. Now, our goal is to, well, close the hood, not think about this. So now we gotta work on making this thing look nice. Delivery goes on in like 2 days. It sucks that the car was hit pretty good at the last event and pushed off track because it broke a lot on the car. But we had a spare kit, we sent it to paint. We'll get it going, we'll touch up, paint the rest of it, and then we'll put a sticker over whatever else is damaged and let the livery take it off your eyes, right? So, holy shit, we haven't had a break in weeks. It has been full tilt, and tomorrow is our clean culture event, and we got to prep the 350Z and the E30 to drive and do a bunch of tires. So for now, we're gonna end the video. Hope you guys are proud of us, and I hope you guys are happy to see the coupe back together, because, well, I sure am. So for now, you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content, and we'll see you guys very shortly.